Hi guys, I'm going to be releasing a video on Sundays and it's going to be based on a series for motivation. And if you've viewed my description box on my channel, you'll notice that I have mentioned that I'd want my channel to be all-encompassing of a variety of different topics, including faith or things along the idea of motivation as it relates to faith. And for me, I'm a practicing Christian, and what I want to impart in these different messages on Sundays that I'll release in what I'm calling the It's a Word Sunday series. It's meant to inspire and motivate and encourage you and uplift you. So whatever your specific journey may be faith-wise, or if you don't identify or affiliate with a particular religion, hopefully you can still extrapolate something from the message and be inspired and encouraged by the different things that I'll talk about. So this week's word, if you will, is faith. And so that's F.A.I.T.H, and I'm just substituting it as an acronym for foregoing anxiousness, instead trusting Him, and Him being God and God's plan for my life. So just thinking about kind of a bunch of different things that I'm sure we can all relate to, especially over this past year and a half, is that of an increased amount of anxiousness. Anxiousness due to the uncertainties that we found ourselves surrounded by all throughout 2020 and 2021. And for some of us, we're still experiencing some of those rigid restrictions. Depending on where you are in this world, you may not be fully reopened, as is the case for me in Canada, or specifically Ontario. We're not fully open. We are incrementally opening up different stages and then remaining in those different stages for a certain amount of time before we go on or proceed to the next stage. So there's obviously a lot of anxiousness that we've all experienced within, again, the past year and a half. And that's anxiousness related to a variety of different things. So overall wellness, mental health wellness, physical wellness, emotional wellness. There's also been anxiety or anxiousness around the area of finances and things related to jobs, especially over the past year and a half, where some jobs had to be cut due to closures or cutbacks as a result of things that happened over the past year and a half. So there's financial burden and strain that many have experienced. Also, aspects connected to relationship. Okay, so this idea of social distancing and quarantining that we experienced as well. And we are social beings. We are made to be in relationship and social with other people. That's what helps us grow as individuals, but also relationally and communally with other people. So having been physically distanced from people, friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, that's put a strain on us. As much as oftentimes we like to be recluse and, introverted, we also oftentimes thrive when we are amongst people we love. And, this past time of being socially distanced has put a strain relationally on us as individuals. So there have been a whole slew of things that we've had to combat over this last little while. And again, anxiousness about all those different ideas and the uncertainties that we've had to face during this past bit of time. So my word for faith, or the acronym itself, foregoing anxiousness, putting aside all the things of this past time that have caused anxiety within us, fear or trepidation about the unknown, and recognizing that we can be okay in the unknown. There is comfort and there is safety in the uncertainty. But where is it that you're looking for that comfort and safety? So I want to encourage you to understand the significance of letting those things go, letting go of the things that you cannot change or you cannot worry about because they are beyond your ability to change those factors. And instead of being anxious and constantly worrying and allowing that worry to take away joy, to rob you of the moments that you experience on a day-to-day basis, but instead to trust that everything will work out work for the good and will unfold the way it's meant to in whatever due time. And of course, that timing is, it confounds what our senses understand about timing. And so for me, again, as a believer in Christ and in God, it's trusting Him. It's knowing that He has His hand on my life and He is in control of all the things that I am experiencing. And as scary as those things may be and as uncertain as those situations may be, there is comfort in knowing that He is in control. And so I lean on God for that security, for that assurance, for that peace that I can find in the midst of that storm. So I really want to encourage you today to think about the word faith. And again, there are so many different definitions of faith. Faith is, again, having hope in the unseen versus, again, the temporal things that we tend to rely on, that we can see with our senses and gain the comfort and assurance through those things that we can prove, things that are empirical in nature. And recognizing the importance of the supernatural presence in my life and trusting God and knowing that God's got this, literally. So there are a couple of things that I just kind of want to go over in terms of just, verses that are especially important for me to remember, that are a source of inspiration and motivation when I start to feel anxious about a situation that I'm experiencing. And again, anxiousness is natural. It's something that we're bound to experience, but how we choose to move through those anxious periods makes the difference between, again, experiencing joy, peace, and comfort despite the uncertainty. So the first one that I want to focus on comes from Matthew's Gospel, and specifically the Sermon on the Mount. So from Matthew chapter 6, verses 25 to 34, it focuses on do not worry. And within the message, there is the aspect of nature and elements of nature like the birds and how they don't worry about their shelter or their food, and that it is provided based on the need. And so for number 34, or verse 34 specifically, it says, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring worries of its own. Today's trouble is enough for today. And again, thinking about what it is that creates that anxiousness that we experience when we start to think too far into the future about things that, again, that we cannot change, control, or know the outcome of. So worry about the things of today, but even in that worry, pray about it. Let it out, verbalize it. And part of that verbalization and prayer is to let it go and to trust that it's, again, being taken care of in due time according to God's plan and will for your life. The next one is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. For we walk by faith and not by sight. So recognizing, again, the importance of trusting in God's plan and God's timing, and not specifically about what it is that we can see in the present as the way that we are finding the answers to or comfort for. Also, Philippians chapter 4, verse 6, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. So the significance of taking that time out to pray and communicate with God in order to find that comfort and peace that you desire in your life. Or if, again, you are someone who practices a different religion or no religion at all, whatever that might specific thing be for you, that you go to that specific thing to help you find the comfort that you need and to put aside the anxiety and the different feelings that are associated with that when there is uncertainty within your life. And then also Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. So recognizing, again, for me, the significance of Jesus and God's role in my life, and how, when I'm tempted to lean on my own understanding or even move in my own will, to take a step back, retreat, and to think about, pause and reflect on God's purpose in my life and how he can lead me on the right direction if I choose to yield my will and instead trust in His will for my life. So I hope, again, just as a brief, quick, message, just how you can be encouraged by the word or a word for today's session of It's a Word Sunday. So faith, once again, foregoing anxiousness, instead trusting Him. Be blessed by that message and that word, and let it again fester or resonate with you so that you can think about how you can apply it to help yourself in your day-to-day living. And if you found the message useful and inspirational for you and your life, I hope you join me next Sunday with the next message for It's a Word Sunday.